How you doing, y'all? Welcome to Confidence. I actually got a bunch of questions for you guys, but I'm going to tackle them just based on if they come up, to be honest. But I got some fucking shit to say, so that I'm just going to go off and then we'll get to the shit that you guys want to talk about. So, I've been really doing a lot of work on myself. And what's interesting about that is I feel like I'm always trying to fucking optimize my life. And that's what I realized is that, and this is some of the work that I've been doing as well too, is being an avoidant person. And the way I look at it is being an insecure person. You create a lot of strategies for how you can be happy in your life. And maybe we all do this, right? It's like human beings, right? We compare ourselves, we look at other people, we see what they have. We think that we need to do certain things or become better or, like I said, optimize the fuck out of our life to achieve and do all this crazy shit. And then we're finally going to be fucking happy. And it's so hard to get out of that mindset. Like, the work that I've been doing on myself has been all about me learning to feel my feelings and accept the fucking shit out of my life. You know how hard it is to accept your fucking life? To me, this is the biggest challenge, I think, when it comes to becoming a secure person. Is like, you really have to, this is going to sound crazy, but in some ways, stop trying to fucking control every little thing. And it's so hard to stop doing it. It's so hard to stop trying and striving and trying all these strategies to get better, to get ahead. Because that's how I feel in the back of my mind. As much as I'm doing this work because I care about my emotional health. And honestly, I think maybe to the core of it, what is really my underlying motivation to this stuff that I do? And I guess that's really what you have to really look at. And honestly, this is what I have been doing with myself as well too, is looking at all the little motivations behind all the little actions of my life. Something coming down to why did I say this thing to somebody, right? What was the result that I was trying to get? But, I guess, yeah, in terms of the work that I'm doing, I guess, what am I really trying to get to? And I think for every single person, right, when they're trying to do some sort of self-development or work on themselves, and especially if that's a huge focus of your life, and I assume most people that listen to this is probably, your energy. I think the ultimate goal to me is peace. The ultimate goal for me is how can I live in a consistent state of peace where I'm a lot more at ease. I don't feel as anxious. And when I hear anxious, I feel like I'm thinking about times where I'm sitting in fear, or I'm feeling like I should do something, or I'm feeling like I have to do something. To me, that is anti-peace. Anti-peace is not living in your truth. And that's what this is all about for me at the end of the day too. Becoming a secure person is learning to become secure with how I fucking feel no matter what. And sharing that and expressing that and just not being afraid of it. And that's why I said, I think that the route to peace in a way is learning to feel and accept. And it's very fucking hard because all I want to do all the time, I'm always thinking about how I can improve, how I can get better. And it's the weirdest fucking thing to turn around and look in the mirror and be like, okay, this is my life as it is. And can I accept it? Can I accept the way that I look? Can I accept that, I don't know, I'm not as far as I should be, right? Because that's based on a fucking bullshit expectation that you have created in your mind, right? That's what I'm also navigating as well for myself too, is how many goddamn expectations I've put on myself. And maybe this is something that I've learned, right? Again, we talked to the last podcast a lot about the conditional love and always needing to strive for more and always needing to improve, and how everything that I do for myself never feels like enough. That's what I'm trying to say. Navigating this and almost changing my entire mindset behind my life and looking at my life and saying, no, Chris, everything that you are right now, everything that you have is good enough. It's enough. You don't need to post another 10 videos if you don't want to. But I guess that's what keeps happening to me is I don't know, is sometimes those old thoughts just creep back into my head of me needing and wanting to do more. Oh, I should be doing more. Oh, I should be posting. That's my dream, right? I should be doing this. I have to do this. I will say though, over the last few weeks, I really have changed. Like I have actually been breaking this down slowly but surely. And I think this is the result of breaking these lifelong patterns for me of not being able to accept myself, not being secure in myself. And the reason I could see it firsthand is, you know, even when it comes to my relationship, I feel like I'm showing up way more secure than I ever have been. Do I still have my avoidant thoughts? All the time. You know what I'm saying? I really do. They come and they creep in. But what I'm realizing is I'm like becoming aware of them. I'm becoming aware of the thoughts that I have that have pushed me to feel like what I have right now with myself and with others is not enough, and always wanting to strive for something additional that I feel like is going to make me happier. And I guess to, for an example, right? Like I have this deep avoidance. That's just the truth. I have pushed away a lot of my relationships because I always feel like, yeah, there's something about it that's not enough. I always want more. I always want to be improving. I always feel like I can, get more, whether it's hotter or funnier or fucking whatever the fuck it is. And, even in my own life, right? Because again, it's all, my relationship and the ways that I view my relationship are all directly based on the ways that I view myself, which is the same way, right? I've always been this guy that's like, it's never enough. I always need to do more. I should be doing more. Constantly making myself not accept myself, not necessarily be fully happy and at peace, and ultimately not trust the way that I feel and trust that the right things are going to come to me. And trust that if it feels good, then just fucking be chill with it. It's so weird. Like telling an avoidant that to trust the way that you feel and to just be cool with what you have. It's just not a mindset that I'm used to. I'm used to trying to control every fucking little thing of my life. I'm used to thinking that I need to work so fucking hard for everything in my life. And I'm telling you, it's like, it's the strangest thing, like to just like sit almost like, and it's not that I'm not doing anything, but to almost allow myself to choose the things that I feel like doing and do the things that I feel like doing and not judge myself for not doing more. It feels hard. It feels strange. And I was just alluding to the relationship because here's what's happened, right? It's like, what I've been doing is I've been really in the moment, right? So what do I feel in the moment? I'm like, all right, I don't know. I feel good about this situation. I feel at peace, no drama, no issues, rolling with it. And in the past, I feel like a lot of times I have been trying to look for more, right? I'm always looking over the girl's shoulder. Are there other opportunities? We talked a lot about, again, in the last podcast about, as an avoidant, you're chasing that validation. I'm constantly chasing attention. And I'm starting to break that down, right? I'm starting to break down, again, my motivations for the way that I have been living my entire life. And again, the striving for more all the time. What is the point of that? The point of never feeling like I'm not enough or I'm not doing enough is exactly that, which is like, I don't feel that way, right? And I always feel like I need to be performing or doing more. Allowing myself to just be me and to do things that I just want to do in the moment, even if it doesn't equal putting out a video or more dollars or more women or more attention or more external shit, I feel like I do feel better. I feel like I'm starting to see the results of this work because I think I have created a good amount of peace for myself. At least over the last few weeks, it really is crazy. It's like my relationship is peaceful. There's, like I said, there's no drama. There's no, conflict. It's just, hey, I'm here when I want to be here. If I don't want to be here, I'm not here. There's a good amount of equilibrium. I go and do my own thing when I want to, and I hang out when I want to. And we're both on the same page about that. And, again, does the pattern still flare up? Yeah, it does. Right? When I'm at the gym, I still like, we'll see a good looking girl and I'm like, what about that though? And I think what has happened to me lately is like, I've just started to question those thoughts. I've just started to question, when I am chasing something or potentially starting to cause drama in my life. I'm like, what's the point? I see it all the way through. I'm like, okay, yeah, like, I don't know. I could go be next to that girl or get in her area or say something to her. But then I'm like, Chris, like, what is that for? Like, what's the point? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe just like it would be fun. And then I question it. I'm like, okay, like what? I guess. Yeah, it would be like cool. Maybe some attention, right? Some energy. But then I get down to the root of it and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. There's really no reason. There's really not a good reason. And the thing is, it's not to say that, and this is me being so fucking dead ass. It's not to say that if I didn't meet somebody that I thought was interesting, that I wouldn't have a conversation with them. I absolutely would. 1000%. And that's not me being avoidant. That's just me being honest as fuck. That doesn't mean I'm going to jump ship. It doesn't mean I'm not committed to the situation that I'm at right now. But what it means, honestly, I think bigger than anything else is that I'm committed to myself and I'm committed to trusting my feelings. I'm committed to trusting that my motivations for the things that I'm doing are a lot more grounded and coming from a place of love rather than an incessant need for attention or an incessant need to, I guess, strive or, I don't know, get some outward attention from people. Now, do I still have that underlying tension? Yes. And that's what I'm trying to say is like breaking down this pattern of like, yeah, I don't know, letting go of the insecure. Because like, think about it. What's the reason that I would need some girl's attention? What's the reason that I would need to get more followers? For what? For validation that I'm fucking dope? For validation that I am attractive? For validation that I'm worth a damn? When you start making actions for yourself and you're doing it from a loving place, like the validation just comes naturally. And that's what I'm realizing is like, I've just been somebody in my life, again, that I've been trying to control everything because I don't trust myself. That's the truth. Like I've been writing that down a lot in my journal. Or actually, honestly, I haven't been writing even that much, but more just sitting around and feeling. I feel it in my body that I don't trust myself. I feel it in my body that a lot of the times I was making so many decisions based on the external. And yeah, don't get me wrong. Like I still am scared to like choose myself and validate myself. It's frightening. It's frightening as fuck. It's frightening as fuck. Yeah. Looking at yourself and like telling yourself, yo, just do what you feel and don't worry about the result. And so for instance, that's why I'm saying right now where it's like, even if somebody came along that I felt was interesting, and again, I felt from a loving place and not from a malicious place that I wanted to have a conversation, I'm going to do it. And again, not to fuck somebody over or something like that. I don't control that. What I am doing is just becoming aware of how I feel. And like I said, just learning to trust that and learning to validate that on my own. And I guess that's the hard part because it's anti-society. It's anti the rat race. It's anti looking at your neighbor and seeing what they're fucking doing and comparing yourself and thinking that your life is not amazing as is, whatever it is. Like I said, that the aspect of acceptance is hard as fuck, right? Whether you're in a relationship, out of a relationship, rich, poor, anything. I don't know. One leg, two legs. Can you look at yourself and look at your life and accept everything about it? And validate yourself that you are worthy and enough exactly as you are, with a partner, without a partner, with money, without money, with the opportunities that you want, without the opportunities that you want. It's a scary place to live. It's almost like the way that I can like describe it to you is it's almost like moving out into the suburbs or moving out into the woods. Imagine if you like moved out to the woods and you just lived in a cabin and it was just you. Let's just say hypothetically. It's like, how comfortable are you with that? And I'm not saying like to just be lonely. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'm personifying what it can look like to truly validate yourself. Like, can you look at yourself in that situation and still find joy? Because again, I think what happens is you bring other people into the equation and it's easy to feel lack. It's easy to feel like they are for some reason better than you. It's easy to put people on a pedestal. Easy. Meanwhile, we're all human beings going through this fucking experience of like learning and growing and whatever the fuck it is. And I guess what I'm trying to say is like, who's to say that your feelings are any less valid than mine? Regardless of status, regardless of money, regardless of relationship status. That's what I'm trying to say. It's really difficult to go into the woods. It's really difficult to say, you know what, society, you guys are all like running at each other, comparing yourselves to each other, so ego driven, so fear driven. It's like, imagine if you can build the self sturdiness or the self security or the self confidence that your life is incredible on its own, not in relation to other people. Because that's really what it comes down to. And it's so hard. That's why I said it's so hard to break this pattern. The pattern is wanting some sort of status or validation or attention in order to impress others. And ultimately, I feel like what happens is you become controlled by the thing that you want to control. You want to control your image to others to look cool or to be dope in order to feel good about yourself. Now, imagine ripping them out of the equation and saying, no, I feel good about me here by myself. I validate myself. What other people have or what other people doing, I don't give a shit. I'm telling you right now, it's fucking hard as fuck to do that. I'm not sitting here saying that I have it figured out by any means. I still sometimes feel this like feeling in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, I gotta post something, or I should be doing some more. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And I can guarantee you that if you track that thought in the back of your mind, whatever it is, I know we all live under some underlying tension. If you can get to that, thought that is happening in the back of your head about what you should be doing, what you have to be doing, and you put it in front of you and you say, why should I be fucking doing that? Right? For me, right? Again, that little voice in the back of my head. Oh, look, go get that girl's attention. Oh, but what about her? She's kind of cute. Oh, Chris, you should make a video right now. Oh, Chris, you're losing status. You didn't post today. Like, I feel it. I feel the tension. I'm telling you, that ego. Something my coach said to me that blew my fucking mind. It blew my fucking mind. I'm so excited about this. It blew my fucking mind. And I never heard it this way. And now that I see it, it changed a lot for me. She said, the ego is meant to try to keep you safe. And I thought, I was like, that's interesting. I never thought about ego that way. Because think about what ego is trying to do. It's like your old prehistoric brain that, it wants you to survive. And part of survival, right, was being one with the group, was being one with the pack, right? So what your ego is essentially doing is telling you that you got to be careful of stepping on toes. You got to be careful about how you look. You got to be careful about what you say. Your ego will sit there and lie to you and tell you that your feelings are not accurate because it doesn't want to break the safety that it feels like it's protecting you with because it doesn't want to step on toes and hurt others. Think about it almost like your ego is like your mom telling you to be nice to everybody. Oh, just be nice. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't worry about what you feel, right? Because it will lie to you straight up to your fucking head to try to keep you safe. And yeah, it will it will tell you to ignore what it is that's really true and real for you, to strategize on how you could stay safe in society. And after I saw it as like ego keeping me safe, what I realized is everything I do is almost because it was like, it's fear, right? It's like, I think that's what ends up happening, right? Is like your ego is trying to protect you from the underlying fear that you have in your body. So for instance, if my fear is that I'm not enough or I'm not that cool, right? Or yeah, it's like, I'm not that lovable. Let's just say I picked up on these beliefs in my life, right? I picked up these beliefs. What is ego going to try to do? Keep you safe, right? So if your underlying fear is, I'm not enough, what is ego going to tell you? Oh, you know what? Create a strategy, or, oh, you know what? You should get some validation. You need to get that girl's attention because that's going to show you that you're enough. Safe, right? Oh, look at that. Oh, post more videos. How do you know you're going to be enough if you don't have other people telling you that? But then you get to the root of it. It's like, okay, yeah, what is it really? That's what's really happening. What's really happening is, that's what I'm trying to say. Most people are living at that level of reaction and safety. So that's the thing too. It's like, what you don't realize is that people that are very ego driven, it's because they're very fearful, right? Because think about it. Think about again, another good example would be like, do you know like the person that's all dripped out in designer, right? Wearing all this designer shit, has the really nice car to flex and show. You would probably turn around and be like, oh, you're so insecure, right? But what is their ego doing? Their ego is trying to protect them from showing people how they genuinely feel underneath, which is scared, right? If I build this image or facade, I will protect myself from not being enough. And, you know, honestly, again, to my example for my own life, that like thought in the back of my head, right? What is that? It's fear that my life right now is not enough, right? That fear of me having to do something. I have to post a video. I need to get more money, right? I need to get more money. I need to get more followers. I need to get more validation. I need to get more attention. What is essentially happening is like, that is a protection from the real feelings of fear underneath. And I guess what we're trying to do is break the pattern, break those patterns of leading with ego and start to overcome the fear internally. Almost just like this. Think about this. So if my fear is that I'm not enough, my ego tries to protect me, right? By telling me that I should be making more videos, right? Because I need attention. If I make more videos, then I'll be validated and I'll feel like enough. That's the strategy in my head. It's lying to me, dead ass. It's not telling me the truth. It's telling me what I need to hear to feel safe. There's a difference, right? So think about it. Think about it. We're animals at the end of the day. Think about like a lizard. You run near a lizard, what happens? I'm out. That lizard's that iguana running. We are wired like the iguana. We are wired like the animal, right? We are still scared animals sometimes. And I think it's about understanding that and trying to be able to overcome that fear. So again, for me, what does that look like? What is the pattern interrupt for me? Belief underneath is I don't feel like enough. Right? What ends up happening? Oh, I got to create because that's going to show me that I'm worthy. What's the pattern interrupt? No, my motivation, if I'm realizing it, it seems like it's attention. What if I didn't live life for attention? What if I didn't live life for validation? What if I didn't make a video today? Oof. Right? Pattern interrupt. I'm essentially telling my own ego, no. I don't need that. I don't need that to feel happy and whole and accepting and loving of myself. I'm enough as I am. I don't need that. That's not what's going to make me feel more at peace. That's what's not going to make me feel enough, because that's not solving the root problem. I'm covering it up. The ego is essentially covering it up, right? And so that's the hard part, is finding those little motivations that are driven by your underlying fear that your ego is protecting. But like I said, breaking these patterns is very hard. So for instance, in my relationships, what is it usually? I'm avoidant. So what typically happens is I protect myself by never actually truly getting vulnerable with somebody. I don't want to risk relying on somebody. I don't want to risk taking the risk to be in it with somebody and actually commit myself to somebody. It feels uncomfortable to me. Weirdly enough, my ego is trying to protect me. Again, it's the fear of not being enough, right? If my fear is that I'm not enough for this person, what am I going to do? Ego is going to be like, right? Remember, it's trying to keep you safe. But again, it doesn't mean that it's the right move, but it's just trying to keep you safe. That's what I said. It's crazy. So safety for an avoidant would be like, act like you're in, but keep your options open on the side. That's much safer. Ego says, whoa, don't just pretend that you're getting close to this person. And guess what? Because you don't feel like you can handle maybe the feelings of disappointment that are associated with losing that, if you do, I'm going to protect you by not allowing you to get disappointed. You won't get disappointed if you talk to other people, you keep them at a distance. You won't ever actually allow yourself to get hurt. I think part of dropping ego is dropping safety. See, that's the crazy part. Is like, you have to let your life become unsafe. If you want to expand yourself as a person, you have to allow yourself to lean into the things that would truly make you scared. The problem is that ego is kind of, how would you say it? It's making your judgment cloudy, because sometimes you can't get to the root of what the real fear is underneath if you don't sit with it. Because what happens is this, like for instance, for me, my whole life, right, as an avoidant person, I've always just assumed that the person that I'm dating was the problem, right? Oh, I just didn't meet the right person. That's bullshit. That's a lie. That's what I'm trying to say. Your mind is telling you a lie. That's not true. What the real truth is, if you get underneath the ego, is I am scared. I don't feel like enough. And again, so that's what I'm trying to say, is like sometimes people feel like they're making the right move because they're like, oh, well, I just haven't found the right one. Or, you know what I'm saying? There's all these excuses. And you think that you're changing by listening to that, but you're not getting to the root beliefs. That's why the belief system is really important. It's going to control your whole life. And then the hard part is sometimes, again, is getting to the root of the actual belief. Because a lot of the times you have these underlying subconscious beliefs, but again, on the surface, your mind, your overthinking, your thoughts are telling you a completely different story. So a lot of people are very unaware of the underlying beliefs that are driving them. They're literally just reaction ego machines. Have you ever talked to somebody that has been so deep in ego or materialism or just very shallow? They are unaware. They are unaware of what they are doing. You see what I'm saying? They're operating from this place of reaction and fear, even though they don't even see it that way. They probably just see it as like, oh, I don't want to be poor, or I don't want to not be cool. Like, I'm just afraid of falling off. They think that their fear is that they're going to fall off. Because that's what I thought my fear was, right? That's what's happening. Right? Oh, fuck, you're going to fall off. Get to the root is, what's the underlying fear behind me feeling like I'm going to fall off online? if I really get to the root of that feeling, it's not about falling off. It's about me feeling that who I am, my existence, is not enough if other people don't validate that. You get to the root of that shit and you're like, fuck, what if I just validated me instead? And then you're like, I guess I don't have to buy the designer. I guess I don't have to post every single day. I guess. And again, what I'm talking about is the have to part. It's not that you can't. It's not that you can't strive for excellence and want nice things and do nice things. It's not that. It's just that understand the underlying motivation. Is it based on love and sharing from a place where, again, you're truly sharing because you want to? And when I say want to, I'm talking about from a place of love and not from a place of not being enough. Right? Is the reason that you're in the relationship that you're in, is it because you're not feeling like enough? You know, how many people are in toxic relationships? Again, what's really happening underneath the scenes? Behind the scenes, there's an underlying belief that they're not enough. And so they push their feelings aside to try to get this other person to care about them. Because their whole life, they're thinking to themselves that if I get this person to care about me and validate me, I'll finally feel safe. I'll finally feel like enough. You see what I'm saying? It's all backwards. It's fucked up. You're essentially, you know what I'm saying? You could cut out all of the noise. You could cut out all of the steps. Imagine if you looked at yourself and you said, no, my feelings about what I want are valid. And yeah, like ask yourself this question, like, is the relationship that you're in, does it feel good? Start there. Literally start there. Because if it doesn't feel good, I can almost guarantee you that there's an underlying fear that you are not aware of about yourself. And it's the reason that you were in the situation that you're in. Right? Like, for instance, I have been in a toxic relationship with my content for years. And I didn't notice. Because again, I just assumed that, I don't know, I wasn't working hard enough, or that I should be further ahead, or I'm comparing myself like fucking crazy. Meanwhile, again, you get to the root of it, and it's just, Chris just doesn't feel like enough, and he needs attention. You're like, holy shit. All right, imagine if I don't need that. Wow. Okay. Like, imagine if I could accept myself and be happy with what I have and who I am right now. It's scary as fuck to do that, because what happens, and again, this for an avoidant person, this is why it's so scary, is because everything that you've been striving for in your life, the more, all of a sudden, all of that goes away. It almost feels like settling. It almost feels like game over, right? It almost feels like quitting. That's how it feels. It really does. Like, ending being an avoidant feels like quitting. It feels like, and this is why I said it's so fucking hard, because we don't want to quit. Because we look at quitting as a negative thing. Oh, if I'm not working super hard for all the things that I want in my life, I'm a quitter. It's like, you know what it is like doing this work, I've realized? You're like watching the whole world run a marathon, and you're all part of it, and you guys are all running super fucking hard to this finish line. At the end of the day, I guess it doesn't really mean anything, right? Because like, you can't bring your achievements, your money, any of that with you to the grave. And when you do the inner work to validate yourself, it's almost like you get out of the marathon race and you just start walking on your own path. Imagine you just like lifting up the side of the marathon race, right? The how do you say, the rail or the rope, and you just go under the rope and you say, bye everybody. Have fun running around. I'm going to carve my own path into this gray area. I don't know what's coming for me. I don't know what's here for me, but I'm just going to do the things that I want to do, and whatever the fuck happens, I guess. But you know how scary that is? You realize, you know what I'm saying? The work that I've been doing to become more secure, because that's what it is, right? You're essentially saying, fuck you to society, the world, the group, and you're saying, I'm choosing myself. But when you choose yourself, it's almost like, think about this. It's all another good example would be like Christopher Columbus. I tell my clients this a lot, where it's like, you know what's here, right? You know Europe, and you sign up for this voyage, and you're like, I'm going to go that way. And you're like, I don't know what's over there, but I'm just going to fucking do it. And I'm just going to trust myself that wherever I choose to go is going to lead me to the place that I'm supposed to be. You know how hard it is to take the leap and to rip yourself out of that race, to rip yourself away from, again, the norms, the comparison, the need for validation, and to validate you and to go into the wilderness, to go into your own chapter, your own version of your life, and just say, what everybody else is doing doesn't matter. I'm just going to do me at all times and just say, this is enough. Holy fuck, it's hard. Holy fuck. That's what I'm saying. That's how I feel right now, though. I'm like breaking away from what everybody else wants me to do and the expectations that everybody else has, and even my own expectations that I had put on myself. But again, I got those expectations from somewhere in my life, right? The conditional love thing we talked about, right? Parents. And I'm saying, fuck the expectations I had. Fuck, again, what other people think I should be doing. And I'm just going to do what I feel like doing. I'm telling you right now, it's weird as shit. Imagine not feeling responsible for somebody else's feelings at all. At all. Because that's how I guess I'm feeling. It's weird. My relationship is thriving because I've decided to choose how I feel and be so honest and real about it. Who would have thought? And again, it doesn't mean it's going to last forever because it's not about the fucking result. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not about the fucking result. Because it's not the relationship that makes me happy. It's I make Chris happy by doing what I feel like doing. And if I feel like doing, I do it. And for some reason, me spending time with this person, I feel like doing it. So I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm going to stop being afraid of the way that I feel. And like I said, if I don't feel like doing it anymore, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell her, yo, I don't feel like doing this anymore. That is how you create peace. That is how you validate yourself. That is how you validate your own emotions. This is how you become secure. This is called unconditional love for self. And guess what? When you unconditionally love yourself, you will ultimately unconditionally love others because you will always be honest. Because if you always know how you feel and you're always being honest, the other person has a fair chance to navigate and choose their truth. Again, it's not about the outcomes. Because, example, right, with this relationship, if I'm looking over her shoulder at other people and I don't tell her that truth, I am not giving her a fair chance to make her own choice. If I know that I'm emotionally checked out of a relationship and I don't share that honestly with my partner by thinking I'm doing a good job by not hurting them, you're honestly, it's worse. Because you're not giving them a fair chance to move on and to navigate the pain that they need to navigate in order to become a better person, to find a person that actually is emotionally available. And that's what I'm talking about the control. A lot of the times we're just doing this out of fear. But again, it's weird. What people don't understand is the more you move inward to validating yourself inward, actually the better you are in terms of a relationship. The healthier relationships will be because the more honest you will be with your relationships because you trust yourself and you're secure in yourself. You don't mind telling people the truth no matter what, even if it's going to hurt them, because you understand that you're not responsible for their feelings. You also understand that you're responsible for yours. I feel like we just had a major breakthrough here. I don't, honestly. And I think what ends up happening too is, so somebody asked me a question, and this is a big one, and it said, how to navigate friendships and relationships that you've outgrown. So as I'm doing this work, what is happening naturally for me is like, as you become more secure and more honest about your feelings because you trust yourself, you can get into your feelings, you communicate your feelings. The thing is, the people that are dishonest or the people that are so stuck in fear, they're stuck in that ego brain, you don't want to associate with them anymore because you could tell that it's not founded on self-security. I want to be surrounded by people that are genuine and that people are going to tell me the truth. People that can understand and be aware of what I'm talking about right here, which is like, they also trust themselves. They also validate themselves. They don't need me to validate them. So we have this equilibrium in the relationship. If I don't fucking text somebody and that person gets their panties in a bunch for some reason, you could smell the insecurity. It's weird. I don't want to be around somebody like that. I want to have relationships in my life where I can communicate on the frequency that I want to communicate and they don't hold it against me. I don't want to go out to the club or to the bar with a bunch of random people that don't want to talk about anything valuable. You want to just talk about material shit and nonsense. Again, you start to see it for what it is and you don't want to be around them anymore. Because that's the truth. Honestly, it's what's crazy is like, there's a lot of people in my life that like, honestly, it's hard. I'm going through a season right now where I'm doing all this fucking self-work and becoming more secure and less insecure. The people around me that I'd used to spend time with, it's like, it feels like vibrationally, we're not on the same page. You know, I'm honestly filling up your cup, but I'm not getting replenished because again, I don't feel this genuine understanding of self from you. And if I'm talking to you and I can feel that there's a mask, I'm good. Because I know I'm not even talking to somebody where you're true in yourself. And again, that's like me trying to be with somebody that's either anxious or avoidant, right? Again, the more that you become secure in your own truth, you are going to avoid people that are anxious. You're going to avoid people that are avoidant because you realize that what they're doing is they don't have the self-security to tell you how they really feel. And this is why you'll find a secure partner and secure bonds this way. Because it will start to feel draining around people that are operating from a place of fear and operating from a place of insecurity. And again, once you start to realize your own truth about your feelings, you start to see it way easier in others. It will just happen naturally, honestly. So again, I guess, how do you navigate that? Again, if you are secure in yourself, you say your truth. That's how you navigate it. If there's a friend that wants your time and is making you feel guilty for not being around enough, you tell them the truth. Hey, I don't want to go to that event. I'm sorry. Hey, I love you, but I don't have time for that phone call today. Hey, I appreciate your desire for working with me. I mean, I'll do this too. But to be honest, I vibrationally, I don't feel like we're on the same page. I'm good. You have to trust your feelings. That's all it is. Look at each one of your friendships. This is a good way to do it. Look at the people in your life. I want you to take an audit. Write down all the people in your life that you spend time with, at least on a decent basis. And what I want you to do is I want you to look at that name and I just want you to feel in your body. How does it feel? Does it feel like that person fills up your cup? Vibrationally, does it feel like you want to spend time or more time with that person? If that answer is no, honor your feelings. Because again, you're going to do right by them by telling them your truth. That's what it comes down to. And the same thing with romantic relationships. We're talking about the same exact thing here. In a romantic relationship, if you want a really secure bond that could last, it's literally all about knowing what it is that you feel and telling them the truth. If you don't like something, you got to tell them honestly. If something's off or something's bothering you, say it. If you fucked up or you did something wrong, say it. You guys want to hear something? Okay, I'm going to give you an example of how I'm building self-security and how I am not perfect. About a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I had hit on a girl at the gym and I asked if she was single. She said she wasn't. And I made a comment about getting on the waiting list, fucking around. Somebody from the gym comes up to me and talks to me about it because apparently the girl had felt somewhat uncomfortable. I was feeling anxious about it because I was like, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. And guess what? I was honest as fuck with my partner. I told my partner, hey, I'm not feeling good right now. She's like, why? I was like, hey, I don't want to tell you this, but I'm just going to be real that, yeah, I tried to pick somebody up at the gym. And it wasn't necessarily my proudest moment. I truly believe I was in a reaction. I don't want to keep doing these things. I'm working on that, right? I'm working on not needing that attention. But like I said, I'd been navigating this for a while. And again, I'm learning. I'm getting better. But I was honest with her. And we navigated it. It's crazy. It's a lot of people. We just think that we can't tell the truth to our partner because then they're going to leave us. If she wanted to leave me because of that truth, that's on her. That's up to her. I can't control that. But I know that the person that I'm supposed to be with, ultimately, I'm going to be able to tell them everything. And I know I'm not going to be perfect. And again, once I share my truth, it's up to them on how they take it. Because it's the only way you're going to have a secure bond anyway. Even if you're in a situation where you cheated on somebody. The only way that relationship truly makes progress and you guys truly find peace and happiness is if you're honest about it. That's the truth. You got to be real. Because the right person, if they're meant to be in your life, they're going to navigate it with you. And I'm not saying that the other person always should stay. That's not true, right? If somebody cheated on me, I'd probably turn around and be like, no, I'm good. You know, I'm serious. I would not do that. But I again, what's the point of having a bond with somebody where you're not being real? That's not really a bond. That's what I'm saying. It's based on ego. It's based on trying to keep yourself safe. And what do? You ultimately live in a prison. You live in a prison of fear that they're going to constantly find out, or you're going to constantly be found out. There's no peace in that. Like I said, the patterns aren't easy to break. You know, I'm still sometimes influenced in ways that I don't want to be, but I'm learning to catch those little motivations, those motivations that are built on fear. And I feel like the more that I can catch those motivations that are built on fear, the more that I can make decisions that are truly based on me validating myself and real love. And that's what I'm building. And that's what I'm finding is like, the more that I look at those decisions that I was making, right? With like talking to other girls, always needing more, always striving for more. I'm starting to look at it and it's starting to almost like give me the ick. It's almost starting to give me the ick. Like, why am I acting insecure? Just if I feel something's off with my situation, then I'll tell her. Or if I don't want to actually be with her, then say it. And again, I don't need somebody else validating that my life is good. I don't need 17 girls telling me that I'm hot to know that I'm lovable. It's very nice actually just having one that truly sees me and feels that way and shares with me in the same level of honesty. You know, again, it's not about being perfect. To me, it's about learning, experiencing, understanding that you're human, accepting that it's not going to be perfect, but then being honest as fuck with yourself and being honest as fuck with the people around you. All right. I'm going to do 2 quick audience questions. These are going to be, I don't know. They're kind of interesting. All right. Let me just say the fucking questions. Okay. How do you feel about girls checking their boyfriend's IG following? I think this is going to go right along with the theme of what we're talking about here, which is, I don't know. I don't think that it's necessarily a problem, but here's the thing. I've almost caught myself doing it in my relationships as well. And before I go to it, I ask myself, What is the fucking motivation behind this? Again, this is where you need to fucking stop yourself. Ask yourself genuinely. If you check, seriously, right now, if you're listening to this, and you check your partner's IG following, I want you to stop and I want you to ask yourself, what is motivating you to do that? What is motivating you to do that? So I'm going to do it live real time with you, and I'm going to tell you what my motivation would be to doing that. And again, this is how we become more secure, right? So, okay, the other day, I almost did it. I almost went to go check the IG following, and I think about how I'm feeling in that moment. When I'm going to check that, that means that I'm coming to it from a place of anxiousness, right? Clearly, there's fear there. There has to be. You would not check that if you were truly secure in yourself. You wouldn't. So I'm going to try to get back into like my body of like that moment of like that tension and that fear. And what I feel like I'm motivated behind when I'm thinking about checking a partner's IG following, it's fear. And what is that fear? And again, what's the ego telling you? Oh, protect yourself, right? Check their following, right? Because you got to make sure, if you can make sure that they're following somebody else, you'll protect yourself from getting hurt. But go deeper. Go deeper. Stop that reaction. And what is it telling you? What is the real fear underneath? If you get to the root of it, what is it? I'm going to tell you right now what mine was. In that moment, it was fear that I wasn't enough. It was fear that, yeah, maybe they would want to be with somebody else. And when you look at it that way, you start to recognize, what if instead of letting ego operate and me checking this, why don't I choose the other path and not look at it and validate myself and say, guess what? No, you are enough. You know what? You're good. Actually, you don't need to check that. Yes, the feelings right now I have are uncomfortable and I still feel fear, but I'm going to navigate that fear by not looking. And the truth is that this is what I'm talking about. That's how you build the security. You see how we just did that in real time? We building security in real time. It's risky to not go look at their following and not know. It feels risky because then you're unprotected. You're unsafe, quote unquote. Because then you need to navigate that relationship without knowing that information. And you're just going to have to do it based on how they make you feel. And when I think about that time that I was looking at their following, right, or was thinking about looking at their following, it was a time in which, and I guarantee you this for most people, right, the times that you would go check their IG following is probably in times in which you are feeling fear because they're not answering you. Maybe they left you undelivered. Maybe they went out to the club. And again, what ends up happening for a lot of people, maybe you do see something, and what do you do then? You fucking react, right? You act insecure. You freak the fuck out. Yo, I saw you followed this girl. What is that about? Then what? You made all these assumptions. Meanwhile, if you really think about it, the entire fear is that you're just not enough. If somebody's going to leave you and cheat on you, guess what? You can't control that. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a huge difference between somebody secure and insecure. And that's why when you build that self-security, right, where you're not snooping and you're not checking, and then you meet somebody that is hyper anxious, right? So if I was dating somebody and they were checking my IG following constantly and I wasn't really even doing anything because I'm secure in myself, maybe I did go meet a friend or somebody at the club. Maybe it really didn't mean anything, but they freaked the fuck out on me because they saw something. Am I gonna vibe with this person? Probably not. And think about it as the avoidant person. What would you do? Maybe you see them follow somebody and you retract. You retract all of your energy. You don't say anything for 2 days. Now you made me feel uneasy. Now it's feeling uneasy because you're reacting to something that you saw. Meanwhile, the entire time, if you really got to the root of it, it was your fear of not being enough. It had nothing to do with the other person's actions. It's crazy. This is what I'm talking about when I'm telling you about how like all of the reactions that you have in your life to any of your partners has nothing to do with them actually. It has everything to do with you. It has everything to do with your own fears and you being able to, and again, the underlying fear, not the reaction that is happening in ego that's trying to protect you. So I guess this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make choices in our life that are counter to the underlying feelings or the underlying fears that we have, not being distracted by ego. Now, if something triggers you, right, this is a really good place to learn because this is a really good place to understand where is that fear, right? Because if we don't actually get triggered by anything and we don't put ourselves in situations to be triggered, we're not really expanding either. So for me as an avoidant person, my girl going to the club without me can be very triggering, right? But think about this. If I just pushed her away and I was like, fuck this, I'm going to be single, I'm not going to talk to anybody. Yeah, maybe I don't get triggered by my girl going to the club, but I never actually expand myself either. I'm still controlling my fear. You see what I'm saying? I'm still controlling myself because I'm not expanding myself. What would actually be better for me is to, if I'm an avoidant person, I should date somebody, right? Just to allow myself to get triggered so that I can navigate the underlying fears that I have about myself. It sounds weird as fuck, but like I said, the fear is not about them, it's about you. So in those situations, allow myself to get triggered instead of reacting, freaking the fuck out, running away, giving them attitude, whatever it is. I get down to the root. What am I feeling? Get into the body. Oh shit, I'm feeling like not enough. How do I navigate this? Okay, maybe I should just sit with that feeling. Maybe I shouldn't take any action. Maybe I shouldn't run away. Maybe I shouldn't freak the fuck out. Maybe I should just be still and let myself feel that. Next thing you know, what happens? They leave the club. They come home. Hey, honey, I had a really good time. Whoa, fear gone. Wow, navigated. Navigated it without running away. Navigated it without giving her attitude. What did I just build? Security. Security in myself. Oh, okay. Maybe I am enough. Maybe I am good. I can handle those feelings. Now we're fucking cooking. All right. Great podcast. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. If you ever want to work with me, this is what I help you with. I will help you build self-security. I promise you that. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon.